Welcome to Fast Five, where our four panelists take on 5 topics in 7 short minutes. Let's get started. Henry, there's a deal in the state of Maryland about giving new hire public employees in the states name and addresses out to the unions so they can be contacted. What do you think about that?
Well, it's their private names, addresses, and contact information. So their cell phone, their private house phone, their private email, and home address. I think, personally, if they want to solicit them while they're within their work environment, that's one thing. When they go home, because what can this lead to? All right, if I know
Campaign time,
it could lead to people knocking doors saying, "Listen, we have an issue, and you're going to be with us on this issue," and a little strong arming. I don't know. I don't know if unions don't have the same strength that they did 50 years ago in this country. Okay, that's through. But getting this access, I just think it's a bad.
So let me.
Tom, should you have the right? Excuse me. Should you have the right when you're a new hire to say, "I don't want anybody contacting me, and don't leave any of my information out"?
I think it's probably a good idea. I don't see why they should have to have that information. I mean, before they could opt out, the thing they're just changing now is saying you can't opt out for 30 days.
Yeah. What do you think, Jim?
I
Right,
think
it's not a big
think
deal here.
that they should be able to opt out. I think that I don't necessarily agree with the strong arm thought process. I don't know that. I would hope that would not happen. I can't. I mean, you never know, but I would hope that wouldn't happen in today's environment. But what I do think is that, be it a checkbox or whatever, may we release your information to the union, or please do not release my information to the union. I think that checkbox should be in place, and I think that the problem is once that information is out there, who knows how it's going to be used. And to your point, Henry, and
Mine's an extreme.
It is. But I mean, what's not extreme in my view is the fact that around election time they start sending extra stuff to email accounts that, hey Susie Smith, don't forget to vote for Joe Jones because Joe supports our union and supports all the things that'll make you
And that's marked
make
as
America
spam, and
great
that's where it
again.
goes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you're wound up here pretty good. Let's say,
I'm wound up?
Yeah. Well, what do you think about sports gambling? That's going on the ballot in November. Should we be able to gamble on sports?
So this
games?
is the slippery slope. The question is it a bad slippery slope? We started out with some gambling. Now we're going to expand it because guess what? We made a ton of money in the state. You want to increase the revenues to the state? There we go. That's the way to do it.
Are they going to have it under a constitutional amendment to where it has to go to education or a specific place?
Well, I
Well,
would say
they're
would.
saying about putting it on the ballot.
Yes.
So
Right.
as a
They're saying
ballot,
about this is a
that's
ballot
going to have
initiative, that's all.
A ballot
Right.
initiative.
Yeah.
So that's a constitutional amendment.
Not necessarily.
Well, there is a constitutional amendment this time that the money from casinos goes to education. Hogan wants to do it as just his signature. The legislature wants to do it that it's a requirement because the governor can move that money wherever. I'm asking on sports gambling, should it be a constitutional amendment if it's allowed that it goes to a specific place?
Yes.
I would think it's a good idea, given what happened. So far, it hasn't gone to where it's supposed to go.
Right.
You talk about
AKA
the
the
stuff from the
stadium.
stadium.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I mean,
so
I have an issue with dog-eared and
Yeah.
ways to allocate money. Because what happens is you say unless it's a constitutional amendment, they're going to say, well, it's going to go to education. Next thing you know, it's going to fund air conditioners in downtown Baltimore.
And I just, in principle, don't like the idea of expanding like sports betting. It's just, I don't
We
see
need
any
new revenue.
good.
We need new revenue. People don't
That's
mind
not
gambling.
the best.
Yeah, but the problem is the people. A lot of people that gamble are those that can't afford to gamble.
Are you going to stop them? I guess most people that
But
drink can't afford to
states
drink, but they
around us
drink.
are also going to be doing this. I'm not advocating. I don't like to see gambling done. I
Especially
don't
on
do it
sports.
myself. I don't even buy a tip jar.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm kind of out of place in Washington County because I don't do tip jars.
But
with gambling, it's just something that I don't really care
I don't
about.
know, making money off of something where, which encourages people to throw games. We've seen history of this in sports forever. Why support that?
Yeah.
You sound a lot like Neil
don't
Peart
like
on
that.
this issue.
Yeah, I agree with
Okay,
Neil Parrott
yeah.
on this issue.
There you go. Let the record show
It
that
may not
Tom-
be on too many, but this one I do.
There we go.
Tom, while you're on a winning streak here,
And before he re-registers as a Republican,
Vice President Biden recently said about America's in a battle for the soul of the nation. What do you think he meant by the America's in a battle for the soul of the nation?
Well, I mean, he's simply saying it's about what kind of nation do we want to be. I mean, you can read any number of, books that have come out recently, some by scholars, of various arts, political, and everything, saying, well, the United States is becoming less and less of a democracy, frankly. And in a couple of the places around the world internationally that review this, we're down the list now. In terms of the freest nations, we're now about 17 or 18 because a lot of our politics, frankly, is controlled by money. We know that.
You
It's
think
on
it's
both
right
sides.
that politics is controlled by money?
No, I don't think it's right that politics is controlled by money. I think we need to have real reform regarding political contributions. I think we need to have term limits so that we get fresh faces and fresh ideas into office.
yeah, you know what? I'm waffling on the term limits thing. I'm going to be one of those that I was for it before I was against it. But here's the reality: if all else is equal, the term limit is the voters at the ballot box.
Amen.
Well, yeah, ultimately, I don't necessarily agree with term limits on all levels here.
But if someone
There's
can-
something to be said for
if
the
someone-
President of the United
If someone can
States.
put in $20 million for a local campaign, okay,
Yeah.
to run for Congress,
Yeah.
and their opponent is trying to put together $2 or $3 million, all with donations, there's
Well, the
You know,
Supreme
they're in
Court
that-
said that's just fine.
They
that's
did.
the problem.
If
They
this
did.
is what
Okay.
Biden
That's
is
the problem.
talking about, I think it's who do we want to become?
Right.
And it's a serious issue here, a very serious issue, in my opinion, that's beyond party politics.
We just had a issue this past weekend with a march in Washington. Jim, what'd you think of the march on Saturday?
Yeah, that's
Pro
tough.
or con? Was Rick Santorum right in what he said? Did he
I am-
apologize today? Or
I am.
What do you think?
I am absolutely in favor of peaceful demonstrations of one's opinions. And the problem is, I mean, there's a lot of reports out there that there were nefarious, that there were some nefarious characters that were doing the organizing, and it was well funded. And I don't know whether that's true or not.
That sounded like a talking point that came out of somewhere this morning.
My point is this: if this is a grassroots expression, well, I don't think we know that.
We do know that.
No, we don't know that. No, we don't. But if this is a grassroots expression of people's opinions, I think it's a great thing. I think that's what our country is founded on. If this is if there was money involved, and there are nefarious reasons for it, then no, I don't think it was a good thing. Unfortunately, I'm not smart enough to say yes or no on that.
Well, in my opinion, I am thankful to live in a country that allows an independent person to voice their opinion that is contrary to others. I'm encouraged that there is a generation of youth who want to voice their opinion. I don't necessarily agree with their message or how it's delivered, but I'm encouraged that they have taken the microphone and they want to pontificate about their opinions. I don't think they necessarily have that knowledge and experience that we have in seeing a nation that's gone through a variety of wars, seeing the loss that we've had in this nation, seeing the other tragedies we've had in this nation. A lot of them who had microphones weren't even alive during 9/11.
Well,
So
you know
what's
what?
that got to do?
Yeah.
Okay?
You know what?
It was a
What year were
marvelous
you
event.
born? Seriously.
Yeah.
66.
19. You weren't alive when the marches started on.
I
For
was
our
one of the ones
country,
that protested
you know,
Vietnam.
That protested
I figured you
Vietnam
would.
And
I
that
was
type of
right,
thing,
and I was
okay?
right.
These young kids have a point of view. These young
18.
kids will. Everybody
Okay,
always
but-
complains. Now listen, wait a minute. Everybody complains about the kids of the day doing nothing. You had a bunch of kids get together, organize all over the country. Now we're crucifying
Did
them
I bash
for doing
any of the
something.
kids for doing this?
No, you didn't, but
Okay.
you're not in agreement with them.
Well, that's okay. That's what makes this country great.
It does, but there's never a debate.
But the agreement or disagreement, in my mind, is around the process and the reasons that they are there. If they're there because it's their opinion, that's one thing. If they're there, no, we don't know that.
Yes, we
On
do.
what factual basis do you know that?
Do we know it's because of their opinions? They were on
Okay,
the
how
day
are
after.
people-
How did
there are
busloads
people-
of children from
There
Florida
are
wind up in
people
D.C.?
whose
my,
opinions can
my.
be bought.
My.
That is a fact.
That's a good talking
Well,
point. That's
it's a
just the
fact, but
talking
this
point.
is not
Civil
who
rights.
these people
Tom,
do.
you go back
Okay,
to when we
but,
grew up
but,
with
right.
civil rights.
but are
They
we
weren't
providing
getting
a
paid to do
solution?
this.
Okay, are we
Yes.
providing a solution? Okay.
They're
Our past Justice, Breyer, he made the statement about, well, repeal the Second Amendment. Let's have a
That
let's
wasn't
have a
Breyer.
real, honest discussion regarding the Second Amendment, and then see if you can repeal it.
No, but I mean, we're just talking about this event. Those kids were impressive. I have rarely seen. They spoke better than a lot of congressmen. For
Well,
God's sake.
while you're on that, what do you think of Trump expelling the Russians, the people that were?
Well, it's about time
we're
he's
here.
done something.
To
He
diplomats.
got rid of Russians within the first couple months of being in office.
Yeah, I don't think he's
No,
been
well,
a
no,
friend
that
to
was
the
that was
Russians.
that was part of Barack Obama's deal, and he's not done all the other. He has
Who,
not done.
who was sitting president during that time?
Barack Obama was the one who got rid of, because this was before the election took place,
Plus a,
that put that in
big
place.
mansion here in Maryland.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't remember that?
Well, he's
That was
I
not
remember it was
Donald
Donald Trump, but
Go
He's
ahead.
anyway.
not Donald
Take
Trump.
us out.
take us out. Well,
Take us out.
My point is this: he's thinking about getting rid of these guys, and I don't think he's been a tremendous friend to Russia at this point. At least not from my vantage point.
Not as good as some people
And
think he
maybe
is.
that's to prove a point, or maybe that's to, I don't know what it's to. But in my mind, if there's nefarious reasons for them to be here, we need them to get them out. Period.
What did they always complain about Barack Obama? He will never say the words radical Islamic terrorist. Donald
won't
Trump
say
will
Russian.
Yeah, Donald
won't say
Trump
it.
won't say anything about Russian.
Yeah.
Next
say
up,
something.
the
gosh.
spending bill. President
It's a
Trump
fig
was
leaf.
totally against it, right up until he signed it. Stay tuned because our panelists will have a lot to say about that one.